Hey, it's Taryn. It's time for Sunday Reads. This week I finished a few books. I finished WWII by Yevgeny Zamyatin, and that was a weird book. Sorry, I guess I should try to speak louder today. So yeah, it was weird. I first started reading it and I was like, wow, this is an awful lot like 1984, and actually I don't know where on the timelines they are, but regardless of whether or not they were one was inspired by the other, they did have a lot of similarities in the beginning. And basically it talks about this society where your every move is controlled by the hours. So everything is scheduled. You have work time, you have eat time, and everyone has to chew their bites 50 times for their food. Each bite has to be chewed that many times, and they have a personal hour, and they have sex days and pink tickets where you have to apply to have sex, basically. But basically it's just that their entire society is structured and ordered, and everyone has to be the same. And it's about a man who is seduced by a woman who changes his view on it, and that's where the 1984 feeling was for me. But after that it just sort of went I don't even know where, and it was very crazy and difficult to understand, and I think that I'm gonna have to reread that one. But it wasn't a difficult read. It was very interesting, and it was also very typical for its time, I think. But yeah, that was pretty good. I also finally finished this morning What Makes This Book So Great by Walton, and except for one like shocking spoiler for which one was it? See, this is the good thing about reading spoilers, is that I tend to forget things pretty quickly, so I won't remember later. I think it was Nova, Delaney's Nova. I was like, wait, why did you tell me the ending of that? Like, I wanted to read it and discover it for myself. And usually she like says she's doing spoilers, but this time she did not. Maybe she doesn't feel like it's a spoiler, but if you tell me what happens at the end, it's still a spoiler. So anyways, it was really good. I have a few more books that I would like to order from it, so I will do that later. I did get my order of books in. Well, 3 of the 4 books that I ordered from before. One is Orbital Resonance by John Barnes. This is like juvenile Heinlein, apparently. I don't know. Random Acts of Senseless Violence by Jack Womack, and I am super excited about this. It's cyberpunky, and actually so is The Fortunate Fall by Raphael. So I'm really looking forward to these because I love cyberpunk. I love it. Even if it's outdated now or whatever, it's still fun to read. Yes. I also finished the People's History of World War II that I was reading. It was really interesting at the beginning, and I very much enjoyed like the personal insight into different situations in the war, but the ending started getting into like atomics and things like that, and it was more scientific and philosophical rather than, you know, just an everyman talking about something. So it was a little bit harder to read, but it was definitely worthwhile. And my next book will be The Cold War. It's this giant picture book. I have it, but I don't feel like getting it. I'll show you next time when I actually start reading. I imagine it'll take me a little bit of time to do that. I also started All the Birds in the Sky by Charlie Jane Anders finally, and I will reserve judgment, but so far I am like on chapter number 6, and I'm not super impressed yet. I don't know if it's because of the magical realism or, you know, what's going on with that, but I'm not loving it, but I'm hoping that I will change my mind. I'm also listening to, I finished the We Free Men audiobook, and it was great. It was great. I love the extra depth that you get when you're listening to the audio version of Pratchett. I still would rather read a book for the first time, but I do enjoy listening to the audiobook version. I just don't pay as close attention as I want to when I'm listening to the audiobook version, so I tend to miss a few things. For example, the current audiobook I'm listening to is Jonathan Stroud's Lockwood and Company, The Screaming Staircase, and it's so much fun so far. It's got a female lead, ghost hunters sort of thing in a London that has had some sort of supernatural breakthrough that nobody really knows about, like what brought it about, but it's a lot of fun so far. But I'm doing it while I'm listening to it while I'm doing other things, so I just sort of miss things. So that's something I'm gonna have to learn how to adjust so that I can listen more carefully, so I can catch more things. But yes, I don't remember where I was going with that. Anyways, my hold came in from the library for Codex Born by Jim C. Hines, which is the second book in the Librio Books Ex Libris series. The first book was Libriomancer, and if I remember that one correctly, it was very male, but it was a lot of fun to read, so I'm interested in seeing if the female characters develop a little better in the second book. So we'll see. That's what I will be reading this week. I made my ghee, which I put a picture on Twitter, and this is what it looks like. Now it doesn't look like pea anymore, Paul. It just looks like creamy, buttery stuff. So I wanted to get a start on my Whole30 business because it's not really time consuming, but it's just nice to get things out of the way in the beginning. So that's what I did, and my weekend is just full of cleaning and being a homebody, and I love that. What is your weekend full of, and what are you reading? And if you have any exciting plans for the week, please let me know. Other than that, until next time.